Welcome to Melody Lakes Community Outreaches Bible Study on the Book of Daniel. Tonight we are on what chapter, Mr. Varnum?
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3. With us, of course, is our Pastor Norman Drummond, Mr. Matt Pierce, and myself, Dennis McPherson. Who's going to read for us?
I'll read a while. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together into the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, "To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace." Therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king, "Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up." Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, "Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye shall fall down and worship the image which I have made, well. But if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands?" Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said unto O King Nebuchadnezzar, "We are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up." Boy, if some Americans would start having that kind of a backbone.
Wouldn't it be good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats and their hosen and their hats and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
Does it say that, the Son of God? Your version?
That's exactly what it says. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Not God's,
like
but God.
No, yeah.
So how did King Nebuchadnezzar know what the Son of God looked like?
That's a good question.
Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire, and the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language would speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. And that's truth.
Yeah.
That is my truth that I understand and believe and read and receive. And that's the same truth that we have to have today in our faith in God and in Jesus Christ. That we're not going to yield or compromise our position on the Son of God. We're not going to compromise our belief or our position on the order that God created in the beginning. We don't come from animals. We were created. And that's the foundation that we as men need to begin uniting upon on common ground. And I'll shut up now, but that's what I had to say.
Yeah.
One thing about that, about Daniel, that always hits me too, is God didn't want nobody to think there was no trickery with that fire.
That's right.
No.
It just vaporized. the ones that were throwing them in.
I mean, it makes you think that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had some power because he used his strongest men in the kingdom to bind them up, which kind of alludes to the fact that no one else could do it, but it had to be the strongest and the best that there was.
Well, I guess he didn't want no. He didn't want no because he figured it was gonna burn up. He didn't want nobody thinking that there was any trickery and they got loose.
That's right.
Yeah.
There might have been a lot of thinking
Yeah.
going on there. Might have been a lot of thinking going on there.
Yep.
But that was what always hit me. And I always, you know, we all try to picture it in our mind what that furnace probably looked like.
But you're right. There are a lot of times people try to come up with some way of understanding, other than understanding it as miracle and as God's work, a way that we can explain it. You know.
Oh, they
And
still
so
do. They still
couldn't
do.
explain that away. They couldn't explain
They
it
still do. The parting of the Red Sea and all that
Oh,
was
yeah.
just a you know, a drought, and there was a little earthquake, and it, you know, the water trickled down into the ditch that the earthquake made, and the trickle's still there. You just can't see it because it's water. But yeah.
Yeah, they talk about when Jesus was walking on the water, he was actually just walking around the edge of the lake there in shallow water. Well, so Peter almost drowned in a foot of water. So
Well, he sunk too.
that's right, he sunk.
He sunk because he was walking on the water to start with. He had the faith to get out of the boat, and he was walking on the water.
Right.
But then he took his eyes off God, and he began to sink.
Yeah.
You can't sink in 2 inches of water.
But you can't explain that away. You can't explain that miracle away as if it was just some natural occurrence. The same thing, that's what you're saying about this fire. Yeah. Tell me this. What is a sack butt?
I don't know, but I sure
What is-
enjoyed saying
What
it.
is a what?
A sack butt.
I'll
He-
look it
he
up.
named
Is
it.
that the thing that's got a bag under it?
It sounds like it.
Like a
It's,
but
it's called what?
bagpipe.
Sack
sack.
butt.
Yeah.
SACKBUT.
It was one of the musical instruments that they were playing.
I don't know if I don't know. I do know that they had something similar to bagpipes back then,
Yeah. I thought that.
but I forgot what they called
it's
it.
a-
I forgot what they called
It's
it.
a trombone. It
Yeah.
says an early trombone,
Trombone.
a prominent instrument during the Renaissance and Baroque eras.
Yeah. Yeah, the original word in some other language, when they translated it over, when they anglicized it, it comes out sackbut, but it wasn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, this says in the Bible, it's a mistranslation. It says, sackbut is a mistranslation of an ancient Syrian stringed instrument, likely a type of harp or lyre.
The sackbut?
Yeah, that was played as part of a large orchestra in King Nebuchadnezzar's court.
Yeah, what I had read said the same thing you had earlier said, was that it was a trombone.
That's the more new. That's the newer. From that, they're saying it was maybe a stringed instrument.
But the psaltery was a stringed instrument.
Yeah,
So I would think it'd be a different kind if you
Yeah.
already got a stringed instrument. But who knows?
Yeah.
It was an instrument. They're playing music. And
Yeah.
here's what happens when you have a whole lot of instruments and a whole lot of playing going on. People start worshiping other gods. No, I shouldn't say that.
well, they did. They sure did. You know.
Nebuchadnezzar was a quick study too. It didn't take him long to flip. And
But he doesn't actually declare that those other gods were not gods, just that the gods of Shadrach, Meshach, and
A false
Abednego
god.
was a
False
great
god.
God. Yeah. So it's too bad he didn't come to that conclusion that they shouldn't be worshiping some
Yeah,
statue.
he sounded like a very prideful king. You know.
Yeah.
Their own word.
Probably, you just wonder, the story there kind of tells a story in a little short chapter. But I wonder how long it took him to make that statue. This was a huge statue with
the golden statue.
yeah.
Well, and he'd already been introduced to God, hadn't he? Nebuchadnezzar through his
Daniel's
interaction, with the Jew. But
yeah,
well, the dream.
Through his dream.
right, the dream.
But maybe even before that, it doesn't say, but
Could have been others.
he doesn't sound like he's ready to get on board,
No.
because he probably thinks he's God, or he's a God, is what it.
He just kind of recognizes that their God is a God too, and their God is a mighty God. Takes a little bit more to come to that. There are religions where they do that. You introduce them to Christianity, and they just add that to their list of gods instead of declaring that as the one and only true God. Now that doesn't mean all of them do, but in some cases they have a string of gods that they worship.
Yeah, that's true.
And that seems like what he's got. He's got a whole bunch of gods.
Yeah, he's confused.
And now he's met a new God.
Yeah. Well, then he's trying to create his own God, which tells me he thinks he's a God in order to create another God, kind of thing. Sounds like a pretty bad guy.
We did call him the High God.
The high God called him that. Didn't call him the highest God, just the high God.
Well, if he's the High God,
The high God. Okay.
but he's going to fall. Like everything else is going to fall. The only one that's not going to fall is the kingdom of God. That's the only one that doesn't fall.
It is interesting when we're talking about the miracle that took place there. It is interesting how the description of that not only were they not burned up, but their clothes were not burned up. And they
Right.
didn't even have the
Did it
smell
smell
of
like
smoke.
a been in the fire?
And if y'all came around me
It
Tuesday,
didn't feel like they'd been smelled.
you'd have still smelled the smoke
Uh-huh.
from staying by the smoker all night long.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still smelling smoke Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. We know how smoke attaches itself to you
And they were inside the fire.
inside the fire, and it didn't attach itself to you.
I've told y'all before about my client that worked at Country's Barbecue. When he would come to the office, I didn't have to have nobody tell me he was there. As soon as he cleared the door, I knew he was in the building, because he smelled like barbecue all the time. He couldn't get it off of him, because that's all he did was he just smoked barbecue all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't good barbecue either, but anyway, he did it.
Yeah, I had a little confrontation years ago. Back when we didn't afford a washer and dryer to clean our clothes, we went down to the laundromat, and here we are in the laundromat cleaning, washing clothes and drying clothes. And this man was in there smoking a cigar.
Oh gosh.
And I thought, I confronted him trying to be nice, but what are you doing? All of our clothes in here are gonna smell like cigar smoke.
I ain't sharing my turkey.
Did he go out? Did he?
We'll make a public service announcement.
Yeah, but he was not happy.
I might bring a turkey, but I ain't sharing it
think
with
he
nobody.
understood.
Well, yeah.
It's
That
his
was- Hold
right.
it back up again.
Yeah, exactly.
Turkey provided, bring a side to share. So I ain't bringing my side piece either to share. So is that what you're trying to say?
You got to get that on camera.